Now, I went home and told my 6-year-old daughter, Mila, that the last jaguar died. And I remember just thinking, my God, this is not the information we should be bringing home to our children. These are the biological realities we face. If you eat sushi, you're eating bluefin tuna, you're eating the equivalent of the slaughter of the buffalo in the 1800s. The bluefin tuna population is being wiped out as we speak. The biological realities of what we're doing on this planet are not negotiable. They are happening right now.
The projections that by 2020 we could be faced with 150 million environmental refugees. Katrina was 1 million environmental refugees. Globally, we're currently not dealing very well with 25 million refugees. 150 million environmental refugees by 2020 because, for example, Africa could have 50% less food.
The forests of the orangutans were being destroyed at an alarming rate, and this is basically the reason why Indonesia is now the 3rd largest emitter of carbon dioxide, greenhouse gases in the world, after China, the United States, and we do it without any industry. 80% of our emissions are caused by environmental destruction, and the destruction is for palm oil, which is now killing the orangutans.
A very unusual research project that we conducted a few years ago involving 10 Americans, a very unusual group of people, because one day in 2004 we took one sample of blood from each one of them and tested it for 413 toxic chemicals. There's no group of people in the world who have ever had their blood tested for this many toxicants. And we found 287 across just these 10 people from one sample on one day. 287 toxic chemicals. About the only thing we do know is that when the exposures took place, they looked something like this. This was the first study that had ever been conducted of a wide range of toxic chemicals in umbilical cord blood.
There's something deeply wrong on many levels. The way I see it is we're trashing the planet, we're trashing each other, and we're not even having fun. Now, if it were fun, we might want to think of some way to prop up this unsustainable system a little longer, but it's not even fun, so why bother?
So my only job as the head of this organization is to build more power so we have the potential to be helpful and harmful. Because what people respond to is people who can be helpful and harmful to them. And so first, how can Green for All be helpful? The way we're going to be helpful is we're going to build power, most of which is people think about politically and is regional in nature. So part of what we did is we looked across the country who were groups like Lane and Agenda and Georgia Stand Up and Atlanta and other groups across the country that were doing good work. And what we realized is we didn't need to do anything but provide information so they could do their good work on behalf of the green economy. Because we actually have to be able to point to green jobs and show they're real, because right now it's still a concept in people's head, and soon someone's going to call the question.
You know, there's all these really smart scientists out there who are saying it's almost about to be game over for the planet. And there's real consensus amongst those scientists. So when it comes to climate legislation and we're debating whether we should reduce carbon, 80% by 2050 or 14% by 2020, I mean, that's not a political conversation. That's a science conversation. Let's have a conversation about science and let's do it scientifically. We need to be stronger. I love coming to these progressive spaces and we all pat each other on the back and it's what you're doing is amazing, it's groundbreaking, it's changing the world, and it's true, but the culmination, the aggregation of everything we're doing right now still isn't enough. And to honor Van Jones and the vision that he brought to the White House and the vision that he's going to continue to inspire across this country means that we got to turn it up a level, people. Yep. We need to do more than we ever have before. This is a fight for health care, it's a fight for energy, it's a fight for justice. It's not just about what's happening in the United States, it's what's happening internationally. And we can't afford to continue to do things the way we're doing it. We need a stronger movement, a more integrated movement, and I would argue we need a movement that's led by a whole bunch of really amazing young folks all across this country.